and made several verbal threats, and the officers did have to use lethal force. The suspect is deceased at this time, and no deputies were injured. Beyond that, it's really an active investigation as deputies work with the state attorney's office and our major crimes unit to determine exactly what occurred this morning.
And at this point, is there any danger? Obviously, there's a lot of people on scene, kind of have the situation under control.
Right. Obviously the McDonald's is going to be closed for the foreseeable morning and afternoon, so that might affect some traffic here, especially with people driving by on their way to work. But the people that were involved in the situation are accounted for as far as the witnesses, and also, again, as I said, the suspect is deceased.
Katie, we're actually live over here.
Okay.
Could you just reiterate what you just said as you were beginning the interview?
Sure. So we do have an officer-involved shooting. The suspect is deceased at this time. No deputies were injured. It was a disturbance that happened in the McDonald's parking lot. And there was a witness also involved who originally called 911 to summon law enforcement.
And then did the man did he work at McDonald's, or he was just in McDonald's?
He was not in McDonald's. This occurred in the parking lot outside. And it was unrelated to McDonald's aside from the fact that he pulled into the parking lot.
Got it. And did he actually fire at officers or deputies?
No.
Okay, he just had a gun visible?
Correct.
Do we know what kind of gun?
All of that is going to be under investigation.
Sure. So he did have, the weapon that he had was a gun then?
Yes. So it is confirmed that he did have a firearm, but right now the scene is just still being held while search warrants are obtained in the investigation. We have crime scene on their way, so right now the scene is just being held until the investigation can continue.
Do you know if this has anything to do with what was going on over on Lakeview?
No, that is actually a completely separate incident.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, can you tell us about that one while we're at it?
Sure. So on Lakeview, I just don't have the exact time, but it was in the evening hours of last night. There was a domestic situation. There is a male subject that is deceased in that. It's a stabbing, and the female half of that domestic has been arrested. I do not have her name to provide you at this time. I can get that shortly. We left that scene and came here. So she is under arrest on a murder charge right now. And he is deceased. I can also not provide his name right now because we're working on notifying next of kin.
Where was that one again?
That was on the 2200 block of Lakeview. It's just in Port Charlotte, north of this, but completely unrelated situations.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I think that's good.
Any other questions?
We're good. Thank you. That's good. Thank you.
Can you talk about the scene itself?
The scene here?
How many deputies do you have on scene, I guess?
Right now, I think you'll see there's about 5 deputies on scene. Some are, they're not related necessarily to the shooting now, but they're holding the perimeter. It's just the normal, they have to hold the scene. You'll have major crimes on scene, and then also our forensics team showing up. And we also have staff from the state attorney's office here as well.
Charlotte County deputy right there. Here's what we can tell you actually about 2 breaking news situations in Charlotte County. The first, a deputy shot and killed a suspect in a McDonald's parking lot. This is the McDonald's on US 41 just south of Kings Highway. Here's what they say happened. They say there was some kind of disturbance, some kind of incident in the parking lot there. Someone called 911. Deputies showed up. They say a man was in the parking lot with a gun. He would not put the gun down, would not listen to the deputies. There was some sort of altercation. The deputy fired, shot, and killed the man. They also say no deputies were injured in that incident.
Right, and we did ask if this was related to a death investigation that we had been reporting this morning also in Charlotte County. That one was in the 2200 block of Lakeview Boulevard between Cochran and Midway Boulevard. That PIO you just saw that interview from said they are not related. That situation started last night. It was a domestic dispute in which a female stabbed a male to death. They have not released any names in this case, but they did say that that female is now charged with murder, and they will release more information on that just as soon as they get it.
All right, very busy morning in Charlotte County. We'll get you an update on both of those stories as soon as we can.